I first heard of the film Loquisha when it was reviewed by Mac Does It at the top of 2020.
So racism.
I watched it myself this past August, and let's just say, it's bad, girl. Loquisha is about Joe, a bartender, who gets a job at a radio station by pretending to be a sassy black woman.
Metal at Midnight is canceled. You live with Loqueesha.
That alone is enough for you to understand why it's offensive, and just look at this marketing image. Awful. But let's rewind a bit so you can really understand the damage being done here. It's gonna be a long one. Most stereotypes of black women originated during slavery with a specific agenda in mind. These stereotypes depicted black women as sassy in order to demonize them, humiliate black men, and absolve slave owners of guilt. These stereotypes still persist in painting women as angry and therefore deserving of negative consequences. We're going to discuss 3 stereotypes of black women that exist, though there are many more. The Mammy caricature creates a portrait of older black women that care for white families. This portrayal romanticized women during segregation, as fictional mammies were allowed to pretend chastise whites, including men, while real black people were allowed to do no such thing. Stereotypical mammies were often portrayed as older women, even though teenagers and young adults were more often caretakers for white children. The mammy portrayal was a large part of the criticism of the help. The Sapphire originated on Amos and Andy, which was a minstrel show originating in the late 1920s. The show originated as a blackface stand-up show called Sam and Henry, but changed the name due to copyright restrictions. Sapphire Stevens was a dominant and aggressive character, a perpetual complainer, but she did not criticize to improve things. She criticized because she was unendingly bitter and wished that unhappiness on others. In 1992, Martin Lawrence's Martin hit the air. One of the characters, Pamela James, is a typical sapphire.
Power? Then you ain't got none. Cause see, Gina makes a whole lot more money than you do anyway.
She constantly butts heads with Lawrence's character, who chastises her appearance for being ugly and masculine, despite the fact that she is neither.
Mommy will help you.
Thank you. So what are you going as, Pam? The nutcracker?
However, Shanae Jenkins is a new stereotype, a ghetto girl.
I will not bust your ass unless I have to. Oh.
Shanae is flashy, wears revealing clothing, long nails, and wigs. This led to several similar portrayals like Joy and Friday, Yvette and Baby Boy, and LaTanya and all that. Portrayals like that of Shanae, Joy, and Yvette came directly from black writers and producers, and therefore are more about creating honest but comedic portrayals of women that actually exist. Despite its origins, the Shanae stereotype is also used against black women. Now let's go back to Loquisha. Joe works at a bar, and people say that he gives great advice.
I've been coming to this bar for 10 years now, and it never ceases to amaze me that you always seem to say the right thing to just the right person.
His ex-wife wants to put their son in private school and tells Joe to pay.
$13,000 a semester?
But you saw the bar. He's not making any money. Since he gives such super fantastic advice, he sends in an audition tape to get his own radio show. But he doesn't get the job.
Dear applicants, we greatly appreciate your submission. However, at this time, we are
unable to offer you the position of janitor, so feel better about not having to scrub our toilets anytime soon.
He assumes it's because he's white.
They want women and minorities. They don't want white guys like me telling them what to do.
And somehow he's correct.
If I was a black woman, I'd be perfect.
He pretends to be a black woman instead, using a monstrous pantomime of a black woman's voice.
Hey, Loquisha. My name's Ted. Ted rhymes with dead. You sound dead inside. I am Loquisha. You got no spunk, no spark, no sizzle. Yes, yes, and double yes. When was the last time you felt alive, Ted? I can't remember, Loquisha. Well, you better, otherwise on your gravestone it gonna read, "Here lies Ted. Who cares? Next column."
And he gets the job. Eventually, Loquisha is asked to do some in-person appearances, so he commissions a black woman to pretend to be Loquisha, though they sound nothing alike.
I live, breathe, sleep everything Loquisha. You know, she is a real role model for every African-American woman on this planet. Broadway show? Cause I can sing and dance like a motherfucker.
After Oprah Winfrey offers Loquisha a show and Joe turns it down, fake Loquisha gets mad and demands more money for her services.
You turned down a show on Oprah's network?
And I can't have you out there compromising Loquisha's integrity.
Integrity? That's hilarious. You've got to be kidding me, right? You a fake, I'm a fake, and she's a fake. So we got a new deal, Joe. From now on, everything Loquisha makes, we split 70-30.
Which is very understandable. If Oprah is interested in a talent that you're only paid a few dollars for, you should get paid more. Joe says no, and this somehow leads to this line.
No, I'm black femaling. Okay, I messed up. You want me to admit it? There, I said it. You are a better black woman than I am, okay?
Fake Loquisha tells everyone that Loquisha is fake, and there's a moment when you think, finally, he has to face the consequences of his actions. But you'd be wrong. The end, he loses nothing. He keeps his show, and he keeps doing the black scent. The basic premise itself creates a problematic and unrealistic situation. But it gets worse. Black man aged Joe in creating his audio minstrel show, and when they finally decide to involve a real black woman, she becomes greedy, threatening, and actively tanks the show. At the end of the show, Joe confesses to pretending to be a black woman, but got to keep his radio show, his black girlfriend, and continue to use his black voice.
Right now, I'm gonna hand it off to one of my favorite people, and yours, who's got just one question for you. What's your problem?
Considering this, what is this movie trying to say about black people? Every black person in this film is used for something, whether it is their talent, their body, or their blackness. The movie itself is a replication of Amos and Andy. It both romanticizes and makes fun of black women in the same exact ways. Loquisha is treasured because of her sass, but when a real black woman is sassy and knows and understands her worth, the script makes her into a sapphire and she is effectively killed off. If Loquisha's advice were to come from a black woman, she would no doubt be chastised for her delivery. However, Joe's fake black scent breaks through to thousands of listeners and gives him an edge that his normal voice did not offer. While his listeners love his depiction, they hate the real black woman that takes his place, which is just like mainstream culture, and embraces things that black women create and tears down black women themselves. These depictions create a false association between black women with big names and personalities and ghetto behavior. Though, to be clear, there's nothing wrong with being ghetto. To exist as a black woman is to constantly strategize and become the most watered-down version of yourself as not to push away too many people. While the black women involved in the film have cowered from the spotlight in fear, Saville has done countless interviews and seems to be boasting the film as his magnum opus. And let's be honest, the film's bad without the racism. It's incredibly transphobic.
We're live with Loquisha.
Thanks for coming in.
Makes fun of dissociative identity disorder,
Damn, that feels good, girl.
and it's misogynistic. The script falls flat at every turn, but especially when the jokes are delivered. It's edited worse than my YouTube videos, and the actors give a less than redeeming performance. So no one should think that this is the peak of entertainment or a high-value creative endeavor. Now, to be clear, I'm not necessarily calling the movie a white savior narrative. I don't think it fits the narrative structure of a trope like that. However, Joe is framed as a savior throughout the story. By gracing people with his advice, he becomes a savior to those that listen to his show, and therefore saves his son from having to attend public school. If you think I'm exaggerating, watch this scene where he talks a woman off of the ledge by telling her to jump.
I'm on a bridge above the river, and I'm gonna jump.
But thanks for calling. Enjoy your jump.
Can't you see I need help?
What I can see is somebody looking for some attention.
It's clear that Saville thinks so much of himself and of his character that he's created. Though he's not necessarily a white savior, he is contrasted by the black characters around him, especially the woman that plays Loquisha. Loquisha isn't going anywhere. Sabo thinks that it's way too great of a movie to remove it, and he can do whatever he wants. However, he should realistically address his criticisms. His insistence that the film goes beyond race and gender only stresses his own self-importance and his disregard for the actors of color in the film, who have all but gone missing. Dwayne Perkins did give a statement on the trailer, but said nothing further after the film's release. This film would have been different if he pretended to be a Southern grandma giving advice, or a conservative psychologist, or even a woman that just so happened to be Black. But acting sassy with a name like Loquisha is clearly making fun of Black people and using stereotypical Black tropes that have existed since the 1800s. We're tired of seeing them. No one is here for Loquisha. No one.